Volvo V70 with the T6 6-cylinder 3-litre petrol engine that has a leaking rocker cover that needs to be sealed correctly. This was part of a cylinder head job I've done last year where I have failed to seal the rocker head cover correctly, and therefore I've got to have another go at this job. I've done a little preparation work already. I've taken the front wheel off. I've put in the engine support bracket. The circular plastic cover, the crank end cover there, needs to be removed so that I can put in a locking device. And before I can do that, I've got to shift that pipe. The pipe is a feed pipe from the power steering system. I don't need to disconnect it, I just need to move it, unbolt it, or move it to one side I should say. I should have placed these special tools, a list of these, at the beginning so you can pick out what you need. I actually bought also a set of Torx tools which I found useful for the cylinder head because I didn't have a tool that was long enough to reach down to the cylinder head bolts. I also got some pattern parts. There's a tool in amongst this which is for holding the cam cover while the bolts are removed to stop the cam cover from popping up and potentially cracking. I had to buy non-standard because I couldn't find anywhere apart from Volvo themselves that supplied these. It does also come with the camshaft locking tool, but I'd already bought the Volvo too, so I'll be using these anyway. And this was actually designed for the T5, the 5-cylinder Volvo petrol engine. But the procedure is very, very similar on the T6. Having already used these, I know they work. I've also got the replacement gaskets and seals, plus the sealant that needs to be spread onto the rocker cover to help seal it, and some sealant remover to take off the old sealant. First things to come off will be the air cleaner. The first stage of the air cleaner hose. There is a second stage of the air cleaner that goes behind the engine there. I won't need to remove that for this job. However, I will need to remove the battery and the battery case because I need to get access to the air conditioner to be able to remove the air conditioning pump. That doesn't need to be disconnected, it just needs to be moved out of the way to gain access below. Below that is the steering pump. The steering pump is right next to the chain case, so the steering pump has to come off. But since this upper engine mount bracket is bolted through the chain case, the cam case cover, that will need to come off. It's for that reason that there is a support bracket, temporary support bracket put in underneath the engine to hold the engine while that bracket is out of place. We're starting with the air filter. Should be a nice simple job to remove. Simply lifts out of place, little electrical connection to remove. See if I can remove it. There we go. Back to that. Remove the battery cover. Clip to turn. Safety procedure, always remove the negative first. think you can see it. Probably just about see it hiding down here. Now I've got to get an extension to help me get the bolt out of there. That's the bolt out. That's the battery clamp out. Okay, not really fit enough for this. Big heavy battery. Oops, and that's the battery out. Battery needs to be taken away and put on a trickle charge. Next thing is to remove this have to disconnect that line from there to be able to remove the battery case. I don't think there's anything else holding it. We should have 1, 2, it should be a third bolt, but unfortunately that's missing. And we're an 8mm, not a 10. Ooh, that was a bit loose. Not very tight at all. No, neither of them very tight actually. Also note there's a third bolt at the back here. Also not very tight. Right, need to disconnect here as well. We'll be best leaving that on there for now. How do I get that out of there? There goes the glove. Right, battery box now out. I think the next job is actually to remove that bracket. Might need a big socket for that one. Now, as I remember last time, I've got to take off the coolant tank, the reservoir, because without the reservoir out the way I cannot remove that bolt. Without that bolt removed I cannot get access to the bolt down here. I can't get a tool in there to reach it as long as this torque arm's in the way. That needs to be removed. This is only held by a single bolt at the back. There's two lines that need to be disconnected as well. Okay, 3 bolts hold the top bracket onto the engine, and again this bracket cannot be removed until this arm is out of the way. I can't just swing the arm out of the way because of this bracket here. It doesn't allow it to pinion at this point. So again, this bolt needs to be fully retracted, this bolt needs to be fully retracted, this taken out of the way, and then unbolt the 4, including that, bolts holding the engine mounting bracket to the engine. Nice and easy to remove. 8mm. Now allow us access to get these bolts out. You can see we're losing a bit of water here. Not a major problem, but it is a pain in the ass. Difficult to get my hand in there to fix the bolt. I should point out at this point, this is where I was having one of the serious oil leaks through this bolt hole. Oil was getting in and then running down the threads of the bolt and escaping down. So I have put additional sealant into this hole to try and prevent that leak. To some extent it worked. However, it's probably what's making this bolt tight. very tight. If it wasn't for the sealant, I'd almost have said that it was cross-threaded. Let's change this so we can use the standard ratchet. Quicker. I'm expecting to see this all covered in oil. The oil has been seeping into the shaft way, not being able to get past. Yeah, there you go. You can see the amount of oil on that. You can also see where all the sealant has been gumming up the threads with the intention of keeping it oil tight. Whereas with my friend here, he runs to the corner of the same cover, will be bone dry. A little bit of oil, but mostly that was dry. Same again, a little bit of oil in the threads. So the shank is bone dry. This won't have anything on it because this mounts into the top of the suspension strut. What a strange arrangement. There we are, it's got some copper slip on it, but dry. And that is the engine mounting bracket out.